Assalamu alaikum. Today we will discuss unit number 1, Introduction to Psychology and Educational Psychology. In this unit we talk about what is psychology, scope of psychology and nature of psychology. Then what is educational psychology, meaning of psychology and different branches of psychology. What is psychology? The word psychology is derived from two Greek words, psycho and logos. Psycho means soul and logos mean science. So we can say that psychology is a science of soul. Different authors define psychology differently. Mostly authors said that psychology is the study of soul. It was again defined as that psychology is the study of mind. According to William James, psychology is study of consciousness. Psychology is the scientific study of the activities of the individual in relation to his environment. Branches of psychology. There are main two branches of psychology. These are pure psychology and applied psychology. Further, we can group into various branches of pure psychology and applied psychology. The branches of pure psychology are general psychology, abnormal psychology, experimental psychology, and social psychology. On the other hand, in applied psychology, there are educational psychology, clinical psychology, industrial psychology, military psychology, and political psychology. Now move to what is educational psychology. Educational psychology is the study of the experience and behavior of the learner in relation to educational environment, and it is an attempt to apply the knowledge of psychology in the field of education. According to Crow and Crow, educational psychology describes and explains the learning experiences of an individual from birth through old age. According to Skinner, educational psychology is branch of psychology which deals with teaching and learning. Now move to nature of educational psychology. Nature of educational psychology is quite scientific. Why nature of educational psychology is scientific? Because educational psychology possesses a well organized, systematic and universally accepted body of facts supported by the relevant psychological laws and principles. And it also constantly in search of the truth and studying the behavior of the learner in relation to their educational environment. Further, it employs scientific method and adopt a scientific approach for studying the learner behavior. For example, setting of hypotheses, objectives, observations, controlled experimentation, clinical investigation, and generalization based on adequate similar evidences provide enough reasons for its study to be termed as a scientific. The process and product of these studies are sufficiently scientific as a high degree of logical visibility objectivity, reliability, and validity. Now move to scope of educational psychology. Scope of educational psychology is all about these five things. First one is learner, second is teacher, third situation is learning situation, fourth one is learning process, and last one is learning experiences. Educational psychology is based on all these 5 points. Now move to our second topic, which is schools of psychology. There are main three schools of psychology. First one is structuralism, second one is functionalism, and third one is behaviorism. Structuralism. William Wundt, he was a German professor, was mainly responsible for the evolution of this school of psychology. He opened the world's first psychological laboratory in Leipzig in 1879. He focused his experiment on conscious experiences involving one's thought, feelings, sensations, perceptions, and ideas. As he focused his attention on the analysis of the components of consciousness, his approach to psychology is called as structuralism. Structuralism was the oldest school of thought. Nature and structure of mind shape personality and learning. He used introspection method to analyze the person, his own behavior when he is exposed to different current situations like stimuli, for example light, color, and sound. What is stimuli? Stimuli is something that can evoke a response. It can be internal and it can be external also. The Leipzig laboratory produced most of the leading psychologists, and one of the well-known psychologists is Edward Bradford Titchener. He was a British by birth and who became professor of psychology. According to him, psychology may be regarded as the science of consciousness or the study of experience. And he said that consciousness or experience can be broken or analyzed into three basic elements. These three basic elements are physical sensation, your feelings, and images such as memories and dream. William James was the pioneer of this school of psychology, and this school of psychology is against structuralism because William James, the father of psychology in USA, he claimed that consciousness or experience cannot be broken up into elements, and there is no way to separate ideas, thoughts, sensations, and perceptions. Structure of the mind is not as important as understanding its activities or functions. So he said that our mind is constantly forging associations, revising experiences, starting, stopping, jumping back and forth in the time for adding to our functional ability to adapt to our environment. Functionalism regarded as a more scientific and more practical system of psychology than structuralism, because it helps in making the system of education as practicable and useful as possible. Function of mind is important than structure, and structuralism not reveals anything what mind does, like what mind does functions. They only focus on your structure of mind. But on the other hand, functionalist focused on not on your structure, is or is also focused on the function of your mind. Function your mind means all the activities which we are going through by using our mind. School of Psychology is proposed by J.B. Watson. He claimed that structuralism and functionalism is illogical and appropriate. He said that consciousness cannot be observed scientifically. He introduced scientific method to study behavior. According to J.B. Watson, environment is a sole factor which shapes personality and behavior of human. Behaviorism as a method of studying behavior focused its attention totally on the overt or observable behavior. For this purpose, it tried to reduce all the man's activity, including his thinking, feelings, to the level of that behavior which could be observed and objectively recorded. There are two behavioral theories of learning. Number one is classical conditioning and number two is operant conditioning. Classical conditioning, theory of classical conditioning is given by Ivan Pavlov. According to Pavlov, associated form of learning in which subject learns relationship between two stimuli is called classical conditioning. It is also a stimulus response learning in which stimulus, food, is presented and in response dog produce saliva. It called response. Stimulus and response. Classical conditioning is focus on stimulus and response. Stimulus is food and saliva is response. Pavlov experiment on dogs and Watson experiment on human baby Albert. Pavlov experiment on dogs. He performed an experiment. Pavlov surgically implanted a tube in the saliva glands of dog to collect saliva. When food was given to the dog, it started salivation which was collected. Then food was paired with the bell ringing. It was noted that dogs start producing saliva before the food on just the ringing of the bell. Second one experience, Watson performed the experiment on 11-month-old human baby. The name of human baby was Albert. He was presented a white rat paired with loud noise of hammer. Albert developed the fear of white rats. Watson said that classical conditioning could cause some phobias in humans. Afterwards, Albert started weeping just after the seeing the white rats without hammer noise. Operant conditioning is also called instrumental conditioning.